Ganondorf. As soon as I say his name, almost everybody knows who I'm talking about. He's the one and only great king of evil. But what would you say if I told you that there are multiple Ganondorfs throughout history and multiple versions? What? How's this possible? Well, let me explain. When Demise, the Demon King, is defeated in Skyward Sword, he vows that his hatred will be reborn in a cycle without end, as it evolves, cursing those with the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero. After Demise's body dissolves, his residual consciousness is absorbed into the Master Sword, before the weapon is sealed away so the fiend can completely dissolve over time. Demise's curse seemed to signify the reasons for Ganondorf and the other villains to exist in the Zelda universe. Ganondorf was born a member of the Gerudo. As the only male member to be born in 100 years, Ganondorf is made either the King of the Gerudo or the Guardian of the Desert, depending on the game. Gifted with powerful magic, Ganondorf often seeks the Triforce to grant his wish of conquering the entire world. He frequently wields the Triforce of Power and fights against the Hyrulean royal family for the Hyrulean throne. The Triforce of Power that Ganondorf often holds grants him near immortality. The only weapons that can truly defeat him are the Triforce itself, the Master Sword, the Silver Arrows, the Force Sword, and the Light Arrows. In addition to granting him power, the Triforce of Power also allows Ganondorf to transform into his beast form, Ganon. During the end of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, the timeline of the Legend of Zelda series is severed into 3 separate timelines. Thus Ganondorf from Ocarina of Time has 3 different future incarnations, each eventually meeting their end at the hands of a different Link at some point. While most incarnations of Ganondorf are the same individual, it is explained in Hyrule Historia that the one appearing in Four Swords Adventure is the reincarnation of the one that appears in Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time. So there are multiple Ganondorfs throughout the history of The Legend of Zelda, in much the same way that Link and Princess Zelda exist as more than one person throughout the Legend of Zelda series. Variations include that Ganondorf is locked in the same cycle of reincarnation as Link, or that Ganon is a demon who possesses people, Ganondorf being one such host. Supporting the reincarnation idea, it is said by the Gerudo that only one single male is born into the tribe every 100 years. Depending on the game, he is said to be destined to become their king or guardian. In Four Swords Adventure, the Gerudo talk about a man named Ganondorf who had been born and lived in the Desert of Doubt with them. They mentioned that he had grown into an evil man with a lust for power and had broken their laws by stealing a trident deep in the desert that gave him incredible powers, such as transforming into Ganon. This is in direct contrast to the backstory Ganon was given in Ocarina of Time, in which he acknowledged by many as the king of the Gerudo and does not become Ganon until acquiring the Triforce of Power. Additionally, the backstory of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which explains the actions of Ganondorf from Ocarina of Time and an alternate timeline, says that a tribe of thieves, most likely the Gerudo, followed him in his attack on Hyrule, again showing that he was accepted as king. The explanation for this is that the Ganondorf from the 2 games are separate incarnations, much like many Links and Zeldas and other characters who are seen multiple times throughout the series. This is supported by a quote at the end of Four Swords Adventures, in which Princess Zelda calls Ganon an ancient demon reborn. This is similar language to a line in The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, in which Ganondorf calls the game's incarnation of Link the hero of time reborn. In The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, Demise states that his hatred will reincarnate and attack in a cycle without end. This is often interpreted as meaning that Ganon's repeated appearance are a result of this cycle. If Ganon as we know him is a result of Demise's hatred reincarnating itself, there could be further support for the idea that multiple Ganons could continue to appear even as previous ones are slain. This would support the theory as each Ganon would be a separate incarnation in this cycle, though all of them would share the same basic origin of forming from Demise's hatred. This would also mean that Ganondorf is one of the many possible incarnations of Demise's hatred. This could mean that the other evil characters throughout the series, such as Vaati or Bellum, could also be reincarnations of Demise's hatred. It has never been stated that only Ganondorf himself can be a reincarnation of Demise's hatred, so it's possible that Demise chooses his own host to form reincarnations. For example, Aslo said the following in The Legend of Zelda The Minish Cap. I was once a famous sage and renowned Minish craftsman. Vaati was only a boy when I took him in as my apprentice, but he became enchanted by the wickedness in the hearts of men. It could be that these wicked and dark thoughts that Vaati developed were because of demise or Ganon corrupting his mind. Another example could be Bellum, the villain from The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. Bellum is an evil being that drains other beings of their life energy and has plagued the world of the Ocean King for unknown periods of time. Bellum's motives are never touched upon. His singular agenda seems to be the continued draining of life force and destruction. Bellum could be a beast that was also corrupted just like Ganondorf or Vaati, but this is uncertain since there's no proof for Bellum being corrupted by demise. Shigeru Miyamoto has stated that although each Link and Zelda are reincarnations, there's only one Ganon. However, this statement may now be outdated or may have been made based on the lack of information, as Miyamoto's no longer as involved with the Zelda storyline as he previously was. So in the end, there are multiple incarnations of demise throughout the timeline, from multiple Ganondorfs to Vaati or Bellum. Thanks for watching everybody, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter and YouTube to stay up to date.